Tottenham have confirmed that under-pressure boss Thomas Frank will take Thursday's press conference ahead of Saturday's trip to Burnley. Frank got a much-needed win on Tuesday as Spurs beat 10-man Borussia Dortmund 2-0 at home in the Champions League. The victory relieves pressure on the Dane, having appeared to be on the brink of losing his job after Saturday's home loss to West Ham. Attention now turns to this weekend's Premier League visit to relegation-threatened Burnley, with Spurs sitting 14th in the table and 10 points above the drop zone. Frank will speak to the media on Thursday at 3 p.m. to preview the trip to Turf Moor. Asked if the Dortmund win proved he was worth sticking with, Frank smiled and said at Tuesday's post-match press conference, "I think it's about the team and everything, but of course I understand the question. What I feel the whole time is the staff is with us. I think the players are with us. The ownership. Everyone wants the same thing. And we're on the same page. We do a lot of things in the right direction. And today was a big performance. And a big win. Of course I'm very aware of that. But I'm also very aware that this we have done. And we need to keep that consistency and turn that a little bit. As I say, some of the other games we easily could have won. Now we need to build on this, and I just see a team that is running very, very hard. And I think that's a very, very good sign. That's a healthy sign of a culture. And we are building something a little bit step by step. We can easily have got better results the last 3 games. We just didn't. But we're running hard. I think the big thing is to build on this with a performance and a win against Burnley. Michael Dawson says you silence critics by winning matches. So Thomas Frank's quietened a few people for a while after Tottenham Hotspur's win over Borussia Dortmund. Thomas Frank praises the energy between fans and players as Tottenham Hotspur claimed 2-0 victory over Borussia Dortmund. Thomas Frank insists everyone at Tottenham is on the same page, following a much-needed win against Borussia Dortmund to alleviate pressure on the head coach. Pressure was building on the Spurs boss following a 2-1 defeat to London rivals West Ham, their 9th loss of the season, in the build-up to this game. However, despite only having 11 senior outfield players at his disposal, Frank's side dominated and secured a comfortable win to lift themselves into the top 4 of the Champions League. I think it's about the team and everything, but of course I understand the question, Frank said in his press conference when asked about how big the result was for him personally. What I feel the whole time is that the staff is with us, the players are with us, the ownership, and everyone wants the same thing. We're on the same page. We do a lot of things in the right direction, and today was a big performance and a big win. I'm very aware of that. But also, I'm very aware we have done this but now need to keep that consistency and turn the games we could have won and build on this. I just see a team who are running very hard, and that's a very good sign. It's a healthy sign of a culture, and we're building something a little bit step by step. I'll have 2 big glasses of red. That'll be necessary. After a toxic atmosphere following defeat to West Ham, Frank praised the home supporter after Tuesday's impressive win. That energy between the fans and the players was magic, he said. Thomas Frank has said Lucas Bergvall will be assessed after picking up an injury during the 2-0 win against Borussia Dortmund. Bergvall was forced off and replaced by 17-year-old Jun-I Byfield in the second half and could now join the growing list of players sidelined through injury. Spurs were already without João Palhinha, Richarlison, Ben Davies, Mohamed Kudus, Rodrigo Bentancur, James Maddison and Dejan Kulusevski. Due to injury, Tottenham forward Dominic Solanke hopes the 2-0 win against Borussia Dortmund can be a turning point for the club. Spurs came into this fixture following their 9th loss of the season to London rivals West Ham on Saturday, with pressure also ramping up on Thomas Frank. Despite only having 11 senior outfield players at his disposal, due to injuries, suspensions and international duty, Frank's side secured an impressive 2-0 win against Dortmund to lift themselves into the top 4 of the Champions League table, with 1 game of the league phase to go. We've done quite well in the Champions League, and if you look back to last season and how well we did in the Europa League, it definitely gave the team confidence. We know we haven't been good enough in Premier League this year, so hopefully this gives us the extra boost. We can improve in the league and continue in the Champions League. When we're all together, players, staff, fans, that's key. We're all one club, we all want the same thing. We need to put the performances in on the pitch like we did tonight, and hopefully we can carry on the momentum. Mathys Tel is unhappy about his current situation at Tottenham due to a lack of playing time. Spurs are aware of how Tell is feeling and are sympathetic to his situation after he was removed from the Champions League squad and replaced by Dominic Solanke. However, Spurs are not budging from their position, and, as things stand, Tell will not be allowed to leave in this window, amid interest from Europe. Tell was initially left out of the squad in September, but came in for the injured Solanke in December. UEFA rules allow squad changes if a player has an injury that keeps them out for at least 60 days. The only way they can return is if they replace the player that came in for them. Frank explained that it was a decision between Solanke and Tell, and he chose the former. The under-fire Spurs boss said he would have started Tell against Dortmund if the rules allowed. Tottenham Hotspur's internal crisis has taken another sharp turn, and this time it is playing out through one of the club's most expensive recent signings. Mathys Tell is now actively pushing for a move away from Tottenham after being omitted from the club's Champions League squad by Thomas Frank, a decision that has stunned the player, angered his camp, and further exposed the fractures forming under the embattled head coach, with Frank widely expected to be sacked, described by David Ornstein as a case of when, not if, the exclusion of Tell is being viewed by multiple sources as one of the Danes' final and most damaging calls. Peaking on Monday, Frank confirmed that Tell has been left out of Tottenham's Champions League squad for the second half of the season, with Dominic Solanke taking his place following his return from injury. For Tell, it was the final straw. The £30 million summer signing had already been omitted from Spurs' initial Champions League list earlier in the campaign, only earning a temporary reprieve when Solanke was sidelined. Now, with Solanke fit again, Tell has been pushed aside and the message has been received loud and clear. According to Fabrizio Romano, Ben Jacobs and Florian Plettenberg, Tell reacted badly to the decision and feels both surprised and deeply disheartened. This was not just a squad call, it was a statement, and Tell did not like what it said about his future. Tell was already weighing up his options before the Champions League omission, with Paris FC exploring the possibility of a loan deal. But sources now confirm the forward will accelerate his push to leave before the January deadline. Plettenberg reports that Tell is the absolute dream target for Paris FC, internally ranked as their number one priority, ahead of veteran alternatives such as Edin Dzeko. The motivation is clear. Tell believes regular game time is essential if he is to force his way into France's World Cup plans, something he now views as impossible under Frank. Compounding the frustration is Tottenham's continued reluctance to use Tell in his preferred striker role, instead deploying him inconsistently and without a defined pathway. This latest episode only deepens the sense that Thomas Frank's authority is slipping rapidly. As previously reported, Spurs fans have turned decisively, senior figures within the club are divided, and most significantly, several players are understood to feel Frank is not the right fit for the role, leaving out a high-profile signing from the Champions League squad at this moment has only intensified that sentiment. Frank will still take charge of Tuesday night's Champions League clash with Borussia Dortmund. But beyond that, uncertainty reigns. Should Spurs fail to win, the sense is that change could come swiftly. If Frank is dismissed, John Heitinga, recently appointed as first-team assistant, is seen internally as the most obvious interim option. Looking further ahead, Tottenham's long-term shortlist includes Andoni Iraola, Oliver Glasner, Mauricio Pochettino. None are expected to be available before the summer. Tentative feelers were also put out to Xabi Alonso following his departure from Real Madrid, but there is little appetite on his side for a move to North London. Meanwhile, Tell's situation is now emblematic of a wider problem at Tottenham. Uncertainty at the top is beginning to drive talent away. For Mathys Tell, the message is simple. His future does not lie under Thomas Frank. For Tottenham, the implications are broader. When players push for exits, when authority weakens, and when squad decisions provoke backlash rather than belief, the end usually follows quickly. Frank may still be in the dugout against Dortmund, but moments like this suggest his control is already fading, and once that happens, the season and his reign rarely recover.